You're listening to the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox Podcast, the podcast that keeps your practice sharp and your clients happy. I'm your host, immigration lawyer John Khosravi, and every week we're bringing you insights, tips, and real-world conversations with top immigration attorneys and industry leaders. Whether you're here to grow your practice, stay on top of the latest trends, or get inspired, you're in the right place. Ready? Let's go. Hello, fellow Toolboxers. Welcome to episode number 415 of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox Podcast. We're doing one of our regulars every Monday, recording live on LinkedIn and Instagram, and you'll get to recording on YouTube and the other sites on Facebook, where we just discussed 10 things I learned this last week I want to share with you that are more urgent. Now, this week's actually like 18 things that came up, but there's so many that had to be talked about. I put them under certain subcategories. So I'm going to say like immigration court, there's 4 things. So it's technically it's top 8, but it's going for 16 things. Make of it as you will. I wish there were better news stuff that we're talking about because it's all going to be very depressing. But I'll try to make light of it a little bit of the insanity the country is going through right now, and especially if you're in the immigration space. So thank you so much for joining. Our magazine is out, issue number 10 of the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox magazine. You can check it out by going to our website, immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com/magazine, or just immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. There you can click on our magazine link, community page for joining our off Facebook community, courses, and much more. But the magazine is there. Check out. I do want to thank a sponsor for the magazine. You'll see their information there a lot. They've helped out a lot in making the magazine, but also supporting the podcast for a long time now. You already know them as well. You've heard them before, but with everything that's going on, you're always looking for better ways to keep calm and to serve your clients. And with the state of immigration law today, I bet I know the answer to what that is. On September 30th, our friends at eimmigration by Cerenade, are hosting a live webinar with performance psychology expert Nikola Milinkovic. That's all about stress management. This is not just typical just breathe sessions. You'll learn practical tools rooted in psychology and high performance coaching, how to manage self-talk, control your attention, and create a culture that supports resilience. Go to get.eimmigration.com/events to save your spot. Again, this session is it's a live session at get.eimmigration.com/events. It's very kind of them to do that, especially with everything that's going on now. So I definitely recommend jumping on that and taking advantage of this opportunity that eimmigration by Cerenade is offering, as well as learning about their software products, which the AI stuff with Visa AI, plus all the form systems, case management. It's a very helpful system. So having said that, one note I want to more make is these interviews. Recently, I've been doing a couple of interviews that went like an hour long with Roman Zelechenko, Mia Giacomi or something like that. And so I know it's hard to listen to the whole thing. It's not the Joe Rogan show where people can sit and listen 3 hours necessarily because you got work to do. But we have clips of all the important stuff that we talk about there. 2 to 10 minute clips that pop up. We post them everywhere on social media, but a lot of people are into Instagram. They're there. But if you go to our YouTube page, you catch it as well. But check out our Instagram page. I found people are really into that. Instagram.com/Immigration Lawyers Toolbox. I think, let me double check. We're live on there right now if you're watching it, but check it out. That'll be additional way to stay tuned on what's going on because there's tons of information about case management, firm management, personal management, the law change, all that stuff that comes up there. And how frequently people contact me who are really big in the game who say, I wasn't aware of that, and thank you for bringing that to my attention. So it could be really helpful. And that's what kind of what this top 10 is about too, to get you all into it. So let's start. Without further ado, let's get it started. None of the information provided here is intended as individual legal guidance. Please consult with an attorney about your case, but you all know that already. So for those watching on the video system, I'm sharing my screen with the websites. We're going to a lot of things I'm talking about. The first one is about DHS and Argentina and the visa waiver program. And last week's show or the week before, I referenced that Argentina is joining the visa waiver program. Well, apparently they're not. So although on the U.S. Embassy's website in Buenos Aires that listed that's happening, apparently it was a snub, Axios is reporting, where the people from Argentina were about to come, but they have to cancel it because the visa deal is not going through. And that's that. I think it was like a political move because the current leadership Argentina is on the same page as the Trump administration. They were trying to help him out, but the Secretary of State has said he's not. There's some issues with communication there, but it seems like they shut things down. This Axios.com link it doesn't let me show more. When I first found it, it was all there, but now it's not showing it. So it's a big switch up. What's happening? A big snafu right there for the administration, just kind of randomly not planning things out. The second note, it kind of follows up last week, is about the whole student visa situation. It's the LA Times article, and it's not letting me see it either. But I did a detailed breakdown of the F visa and the J visa versions of the student visa update that they're going to propose rules that are happening. I did a podcast, and I definitely recommend listening as soon as possible. It's 20 or 30 minutes, and it goes over the issues with it and specifies different problems with it. And that way you can leave a comment in the show notes in the description for that video. You can find it on YouTube. I have a link to the comment page for the Code of Federal Regulations, or how you could comment. And it goes over stuff that's problematic with it, with explanations. So you could use that to make a note and have it on the record of the problems that exist with this update. But this particular note I wanted to make on this show is that the F1 visas, the student visas for going to college, they want to make it where it's 4 years. And at the 4-year mark, you have to file an extension of status, even if you're going to do OPT. But with all the cut downs and foreign students coming, price issues, what they're seeing is that students are having a hard time finding the basic courses they need to be able to graduate. For our listeners here into college, so you know how you have those like biology 101 and that kind of stuff you have to take. Well, it's harder to take those because not many professors, faculty, and classes for that. So it's going to force, and it is forcing people to stay longer in college than expected. So automatically, most of these people are going to stay 4 or 5, maybe 6 years to graduate. Those numbers are increasing, and with the limitation of 4 years instead of having duration of status, which was the history of the F1 visa since like 1980, then people are going to have to do extension of status, which leads to more fees, costs, bureaucracy, errors happening, and a lot more problems for people. So that 4-year time frame isn't realistic. It should at least be 5, at the very least, to be able to cover OPT without filing extension of status. We already have issues where OPT EADs Form I-765 is sometimes taking many months, 6, 7, 8 months before they come through. I-539 is probably going to be the same. In the meantime, it's just dubious status that they may have. And just the problem with that is like people make mistakes on the I-765 and they don't fix it in time. It can be problematic. And so that's probably going to have an I-539. It puts people in a bad position. So something definitely needs to be challenged. Number 3, judge blocks Trump administration's ending of legal protection for 1.1 million Venezuelans, Haitians. So DHS responded on Friday, I think, that we're shutting down TPS for Venezuela and Haiti, I guess. And then there's also a judge that said, no, they're not doing that. So I'm kind of confused which came first, but it seems like technically Venezuela, Haiti TPS is still there, and we're going to see what's happening. So if you have clients in these situations, it seems like it's up in the air still what's going to happen. I didn't go into the details of too much, but I just want to share that so you're aware of it. September 8th is kind of a big unknown which direction that's going to go. Tip number 4 is by USCIS. It's a specific one. They've added, they reaffirmed guidance on public charge inadmissibility terminations. From my initial reading of it, I didn't see any big changes happening, other than the fact that they're going to enforce it, which is the bigger idea of the I-864 itself is not enough. They're going to look over age, health, background, all public charge in the past, all this kind of stuff, and to reaffirm that the public charge I-864 is a discretionary form. So that's going to be how are they going to do that? How the rules going to look around that? I'm not sure. But a problem that goes with these policy memorandums is that they're not being published or not being notified when they happen. Majority of them that are coming up, I'm not getting the email from USCIS saying there's a policy memo update. If you go to the website for USCIS.gov and go to news alerts, it's not going to be there. Policy manual amendments, it's not going to be there. And essentially, I'll see other attorneys posting that they heard about it, and I'll do a search on Google and I'll come up the link to it. But it's not readily, findable, easily findable, or there's a better terminology to use there. But it's not accessible easily. So that's a big problem. It's probably intended intentionally so people get thrown off guard as the kind of things that they do. But I wanted to give you a heads up on that. Now, the next section has 4 or 5 subparts to it. It's immigration policing. The first part is it kind of goes along with this USCIS part, is that USCIS is adding special agents with new law enforcement authority. So essentially they carry guns and arrest and execute warrants and all that kind of stuff. Now, it doesn't make sense that they're not doing this because in the Patriot Act and 9/11 and all this kind of stuff, when they separated INS into separate agencies, USCIS was supposed to be a service or forms and had ICE and FDNS, all these people. So now they're bringing that same thing that they were trying to prevent with USCIS, bringing it back. So essentially we're circling back to how way it was, but just with a larger bureaucracy for it. So much for draining the swamp. We just made the swamp 10 times bigger. So that's what you get with politics. Whatever you vote for, you get the opposite. That's pretty standard operating procedure. But that's what we can expect. I'm sure a lot of these USCIS officers didn't sign up for this, but they issued a public, not only is add to USCIS page, but they also have, what is it called? Federal Registrar updates, codified, all that kind of stuff. And this leads to the second point is ICE's 287G program explodes to 900 agreements under President Trump. Our good guest on the show, Austin Kotcher, who tracks statistics regards to immigration on his LinkedIn page, and I'll share that with you. He had statistics of the explosion of the 287 agreement. This is for supporting local. I think it's for local law enforcement working with the federal immigration authorities. So that's going to be exploding, which comes down to the big news, the big, actually explosive 2 or 3 news I'm going to say right now. One is just this morning, the Supreme Court allowed and took away the stay for allowing immigration agents to rove around cities like LA, and essentially they see a congregation of people who look foreign and may have an accent, to arrest them, detain them, and try to get immigration paperwork. So this is a very, very dangerous situation to be able to rove around town with masks and just pick up people. I don't see how anybody in the country would think this is a good idea. But I guess this is when we look back in Roman history, or great empires that fall apart and all this kind of stuff. This is the madness of the crowd that happens. Where people have a lot of fears and stuff that they start doing stuff like this. But that's what is the biggest news today is popping, and it's going to be very destructive of the entire system that we have. I even hate talking about it, but that's that. And to add insult to injury for how painful it's going to be, on Friday, the BIA issued matter of Jonathan Javier, it's really Yahuro Hurtado, and the plain language of, it says the plain language of 235B2, essentially if you came in EWI, they'll detain you without bond. That's how they're reading the statute, and it's probably not too far off. And the Supreme Court and the Superior Court, Appeals Court is probably going to approve it. So that becomes a huge problem. Anyone has a 601A pending, they can be detained indefinitely. And, court cases take a while. This is a giveaway to the prison industrial complex, who have, unlimited hotel stays with people where they'll provide zero services and charge, $100, $200 a night probably. And that's a big moneymaker right there. If you have investments in Palantir or these prison programs, you're going to be booming stocks, which is already the case. But that's an extraordinary move right there. So you see a lot of people. I don't know if I was in this situation. I don't know if I would stay here. It's too scary. I mean, that's the whole point of it, is do this kind of stuff, because I don't know how you could recommend somebody stay in the United States. They're EWI, even if they have 245I probably okay, but just they have a 601A waiver, which is the whole system designed for this situation, not existing. So I don't know what to say other than that. That's the case. Be ready for it. Matter of Yahuro Hurtado is probably going to get appealed and stuff like that. But if the Supreme Court is allowing people to get picked up because of their accent, I don't think there's much security coming from the courts anymore. And then the last part about this is U.S. judge blocks Trump from using troops to fight crime in California. Thankfully, a judge here, we'll see how block this President Trump's administration using the military, having Marines come. And we have a law. It's called Posse Comitatus. Last time I think it was taken away. One of the main ones was during Abraham Lincoln's time, when he said you can't have military roaming the streets and stuff. And I thought this should have been, come up earlier. I'm surprised it took this long for this to come up. But, one sense, the judge, thank God they did something. But again, the Supreme Court, the way it is, it doesn't seem they're really thinking that long term about the viability of the republic/empire. So we're going to see how that happens. Now, with regards to immigration court, there was another BIA decision that says immigration judges should generally not continue an individual hearing based on respondent's speculative assertion that he or she may be eligible for a new form of relief not previously raised. So I think in this case, the person had an asylum case pending. They asked for more time to have a VAWA case to it, and they say, nope, we're not giving you more time to get a lawyer to figure that out with the documents. So that's happening. And number 2 on the immigration court side is they sworn in 3 new Board of Immigration Appeal members. There's a website called Track Reports. Track, I've had them on they're one of the leaders on the podcast before. And they have, I was looking up who the judges were, and it was interesting. They had statistics on each and how they voted and stuff, and how they voted or decided, I guess. So that was interesting to be there, and some background on it, so you could check that out. And third under this category is Pentagon authorizes up to 600 military lawyers to serve as temporary judges. So that's going to be, let me add the links for those watching on video, but that's going to be a whole thing right there of all these new judges trying to figure out what's going on. If you do removal defense, you have your work cut out for you in the next 5 years. Let's just put it that way. This matter of JAFS, what is this? Oh, yes. The matter of JAFS was the one I talked about the continuances not being acceptable if you haven't brought it up first. this AP article. So for those listening to the audio portion, I'm going through the videos. I forgot to change the screen to show the article I'm reading. Point number 7, which is going to affect people who do consular processing work like I do, so it's very important, is the Department of State changed it where you can do third country processing. So if you have someone in the U.S. who's Indian who needs a new visa, they can't just hop over to Mexico or Canada to get the visa. You got to go to the home country. If you're Iranian in particular, you got to go to Dubai, which is not very helpful. It's a very expensive place. Afghanis, they go anywhere, but now it's Islamabad. If I already know the backlog there, that's there. If you're from Belarus, you got to go to Poland or Vilnius. Vilnius is Latvia or something like that. Good luck getting those kind of visas. Go there. So under extreme situations, they may allow you to go other places. But that's just making everything difficult. That's just the way this administration is going. And point number 8, as you've seen, there's been more than 8 essentially. But point number 8 is I got to mention, I didn't want to talk about it, but there's more and more attorneys getting hit with submitting cases with that digital signatures on there. Unfortunately, they're getting notice of the 1099 stuff. It's wreaking a lot of havoc, especially in the business immigration space. But that's happening right there. So we'll consider that 10 right there because some of them had 4 or 5 subparts. And I don't want to say top 25 or something like that. But the immigration game is getting wilder and wilder by the day. But you're fighting the good fight. I'm so glad you're coming here to get information and stay up to date on this. Please let me know if you all hear anything. Share this information with me so I can share it with colleagues. One of the best places is our community page on circle.so, a Facebook competitor, for sharing discussion pages and a lot more information. If you want to join, email me at info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com, or better yet, go to our website, immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com. Click on the community page. I need to know you're a U.S. barred attorney before I can let you in. That's why I ask for your bar information. I got to check it out. It's because I don't want non-lawyers in the group, so we can talk without worrying about saying this is not intended as individual legal guidance. If it's business to business like this, we could do that more freely. Attorneys can do their own research. That's the point of that group. And please check out the magazine, issue number 10. A lot of work, 7 articles in there. Colleagues did a lot of hard work, on deadlines to give us this kind of information. We got out the summer edition. Now we're back to the drawing board, getting out the fall edition. So if you want an article in, let me know as soon as possible. We're collecting right now, preparing. But let me go to the page actually right now for who's watching. So if you go to immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com or iltbox.com and click on the magazine tab, very happy. We have a new magazine hosting company. The other one jacked the price by 4 for no reason. I was like 4x the price without notice. So we immediately canceled them. And we have a new hosting, which is pretty cool. And you go to our website, and there's back issues too, 9 other old issues. Again, we want to thank Immigration by Cerenade for sponsoring this issue. A lot of AI stuff, a lot more. And so I think it really help you better your practice, whether you're new or experienced or whatever you do in the immigration space. The information in this magazine will help you, I guarantee. Having said that, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll be back again next week, and as well as other interviews and content in the meantime. Check out the F1 episode. I can't remember, it's episode number 412 or something. Go to YouTube or iTunes or Spotify. It'll come up. But again, listen to it. It's really good. It'll help you out. Again, I appreciate you listening. Until next one, have a good one. Bye-bye. If you like this episode, follow us on Instagram. Our handle is Immigration Lawyers Toolbox, where we post the latest statistics, tips, and more. And stay tuned for more from the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox podcast.